man, it feels good to be back in the saddle. I love it. It's my happy place. Thank you guys for watching my vlogs. I appreciate it, and I'm really enjoying this. Hopefully, if you can't get out, you can watch my videos, and it'll make you feel like you're on the road. So I just wanted to say that today we have 4 people, including me as 5 riders. They all happen to be road glides, which is fun. And we're doing a scenic ride to northern New Jersey. My favorite riding is through back roads, beautiful country roads. I'm not about going on a highway. Of course we have to sometimes, but we try to avoid it at all costs. So it's Saddle River, New Jersey, where we are right now. And now we enter New York. Isn't that funny? We're like bordering New Jersey, New York, New Jersey, New York. It's fun. It's so pretty. So my favorite riding are on back roads. I love back road riding. I love the nature, I love the hills, I love the twisties. I love it all. But sometimes we have to take highways to get to these roads, but it's all give and take, right? You take what you can get. Sometimes you have to. Luckily, it wasn't so long on the highways today. And there are not that many people out, so it didn't make it bad. Oh. So today I had an idea that I wanted to talk about what took me so long to buy a Harley when I love it so much. Why did I take so long? Bottom line, the reason why it took me so long was because of the money. I knew it was a great bike. I knew how much my husband loved his bike, and I would go on demo rides, and I would like it, and I was tempted several times, but I couldn't do it because I felt, for one reason, was the money, the price, and the fact is that I tend to use things up until they're done. Like, I get pleasure, I know some people don't, but I get pleasure in using something to the end. For example, if I have lipstick, when I finish it and I use the whole tube and I'm down to the bottom, I get joy. I'm like, yay, I finished it all. And meanwhile, my sister said, I'm the opposite. She said that when she sees it's getting to the bottom, she gets upset. So I feel like that. And so that transfers into the same idea of my motorcycle that I had previously. I had that bike for 14, almost 15 years. And it was running well. It was beautiful. It was taken care of. It was reliable. And I said, well, you know what? I'll get a new motorcycle when that one is not worth investing money into it. But I have to say, that motorcycle to this day is still running like a top. Beautiful. I don't have it. It was sold. But mechanically, it never gave me problems. when I went to that event that I mentioned to you, that Babes Ride Out, and I took the Harley test ride, that's when I realized, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and I was so happy. And I am happy because it's such a beautiful, smooth ride. It's made me even a better rider. And I'm not saying that like to toot my own horn, but friends have said, wow, you're actually riding better on this bike than your Suzuki. So yeah. But sometimes you just gotta do it. You just gotta live and enjoy your life. Not sometimes. Most of the time. After that trip, I realized that I was really gonna come home and go buy myself a brand new Harley. And I did. But before I did that, I wanted to test ride the motorcycle. Of course, because like I said, it was a big investment for me. I consider myself a frugal person. I save where I can, where it doesn't really make a big difference. In little things, I save so that I can spend and buy on the big things. I'd rather spend money on experiences and events rather than things. So that was how I was so reluctant to buy a new motorcycle when I just had a working motorcycle that never gave me problems. But after that event, it was like a turning point for me. I'm like, you know what? I want to buy a Harley. It's great how they did that. However they built a community it's actually a phenomenon that a lot of businesses, I'm sure, would love to have a community around their product. But this is a lifestyle I've learned. So when you meet people who are like-minded, it's great. And the Harley logo is like a sticker that says, hey, my name is Pamela. That Harley emblem on your shirt is like, hey, you're my friend. We have the same interests, which is cool. So like I was saying, I'm frugal. If I'm gonna spend money, I want to spend money on something valuable, something that's gonna last. And when I came back from the trip, I went to the Harley Davidson dealership. Not near my house, because there's one that's closer, but one that I preferred. So I went there. I had scheduled a test ride, and the reason why I'm telling you this story is because it's funny now, but it wasn't so funny when it happened. I jokingly, half-heartedly, but kind of with jokes, but with truth, told the dealer that I was interested in taking out a road glide for test riding. And he says, okay, sure. So he gave me not a brand new bike, because they don't want to put miles on a bike. He gave me a used, I think it was like a year prior, but I mentioned that I was interested in taking the bike out. I told him how I had taken the motorcycle out at that event for 2 hours, and that I really wanted to test the road glide. And so I thought that he understood from me telling him that I took a bike out for 2 hours, that this road test was going to be a long one. And jokingly, I said to the dealer's manager, like, he wasn't the manager of the whole store, but he was like the sales guy, like the head of the sales department. I had called him previously and I said, how long is the test ride? Because I'm interested. And he said, oh, it's a half hour. And I'm like, okay, well, do you mean I can take it for a half hour and then come back? Take it back for another half hour and then come back and then take it another half hour and come back? Because I want to really ride this motorcycle and test it out. So he said, well, just come, we'll figure it out when you get here. So when I got there, my husband had purchased a motorcycle maybe half a year before I bought mine. And we went to the dealer, who is such a good guy. Matt, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I put you through that. And you were scary, but I was doing the bad thing and I was a bad girl. But I knew what I wanted. I'm like, I'm spending this money. I want to make sure I really love this motorcycle. So we took this Road Glide out and I went on my usual ride on Long Island. The one that I posted last week was a little tidbit of it, but that ride is usually 100 miles and it takes like a few hours. So I'm riding this bike, we're doing the roads that I'm used to. I'm like, I'm really gonna test this, I'm really gonna see if this is what I want before I drop $30,000 where my bank account is gonna go from here to here, one fell swoop. So I took the bike out, I loved it, I was having a great time. Arnie and I were loving life. And I'm like, that's it, I'm gonna get it. And so we stopped because Arnold wanted to ask me how I felt about it. Hey. And I was hungry. Because, I'm always hungry. Like right now, I have food in my saddlebag. I have to bring a sandwich. I'm starving all the time. Anyway, so we're sitting in a pizzeria because, we have to stop and talk and discuss, okay, is this something you want? And, well, I got a slice of pizza and we're sitting down and my phone rings and it's Matt. And he is like, where the hell are you? And I'm like, I just stopped to get something to eat. He's like, what do you think this is? What do you think I am? This is my job. This is not a joyride or something. I don't know if this is a joyride or something that he said, but he was pissed. Like, I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. Oh, all right. It's gonna come out. Once in a while, the F-bomb is gonna come out. So I'm sorry, I apologize if I offend. But Matt was livid. I could feel through the phone the anger, the disappointment, even maybe like he thought that I was disrespectful. And maybe it was, but at that point I wasn't doing it to be disrespectful. I was thinking, I have to know that I'm gonna spend this, listen, I'm thankful and I'm happy about my life. I'm blessed, but I don't even make that much money in a year at my job. So it's a lot of money for me. And I wanted to make sure that this was the right thing to do. So when, I hung up, I'm like, oh shit, Arnold. Matt is pissed. And then Arnold started getting worried and it was a bad thing to do, but I thought I had communicated what my intentions were. I guess they thought I was kidding. I don't know. Or maybe just because normal people, and I'm not normal, and I'm not apologizing for not being not normal, but maybe normal people don't do that. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm going now. He's like, what are you, sitting there having a meal? And I'm like, no, I've just got something to eat. Oh my God, and I had to discuss it with Arnold. Whatever. When I got back on the bike, I was riding that motorcycle full throttle. trying to get back to the dealership ASAP. It was like, I felt like a kid again, getting in trouble by a parent, and I had to get home now. And so that adrenaline, also with like going on the highway, which was the fastest route back to the dealership, that adrenaline and zipping through, which I don't recommend, but zipping through like traffic, not in a busy traffic, but you know, changing lanes and like gunning it. That adrenaline also was like obviously high. It made me high. The same thing that happened to us when we were in Bermuda and we had to make it back to the ship, and we were like, push it. That's the same adrenaline that I got. So when I was like, that's it, I love this bike. I mean, not that particular bike, but it was the same bike. It was just an older model, like a year older. A year older. I'm like, that's it. I'm getting it. So when we got to the dealership, the showroom the front is all glass. So he, I'm sure, was looking out for us. His boss was like, what the hell, who are these people? Why did you let that girl take the bike? He didn't know that I was going to be such a idiot. Oh my God. Or maybe he thought I was going to get on it and be scared and say, I'm done, thank you, bye. But it was the complete opposite. Riding that motorcycle through all those beautiful hilly, twisty roads on the North Shore of Long Island, and then getting in trouble, getting that adrenaline rush was perfect. It was great. And again, I apologize, Matt. You're a great guy. You're a good man, and I appreciate you. But getting back to the story, when we were heading back and we were on the main road, that was Northern Boulevard, is where the dealership is. I'm sure he was looking out for us, or he just saw us coming. And so when we crossed the front of the dealership and made a right into the parking lot to go towards the back to, you know, drop off the bike, he was standing at the door, pissed, like fuming. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I didn't even know what to say. I was so panicked because I felt like in trouble and I disappointed him, which that was not my intention. I stopped the bike. The first thing he did, he had a screwdriver in his hand and took the dealer plates off. And I was so panicked that I couldn't even turn the bike off. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know, like, how do I turn this off? Like, I was looking at the dials. And he turned it off for me. And he just went inside. And that's it. Cold shoulder treatment. Arnold and I looked at each other. And we were both frightened. Like, I don't know if you can see my face. Hold on. I gotta switch gears. Let me move the visor. We both looked at each other like this. Like, oh my God. Like that. But out of like genuine fear. So, oh, look how pretty. So we go in there. He doesn't even want to look at us. He doesn't want to talk. He's just like, do you know how I was getting yelled at and this is my job? And I understand. Now I feel so bad. I felt bad then, but now I have to say that was a really shitty thing to do. If I don't know how many times to say that I'm sorry, Matt. But it was to the point of guilt and how upset we were. All of us. He was angry. Arnold was like, what the hell did you do, Pam? And then finally, I approached him. He was sitting at his desk. And I'm like, Matt, I don't even know what to say. Like, I fucked up. Like, I really did. I know that was really wrong of me, but I apologize. And the gentleman that Matt is, he said, okay, it's over. Let's not talk about it anymore. And then I'm like, okay, so let's do this. Let's do the paperwork. And we did. And I ended up buying the motorcycle, which I'm happy I did. I'm happy that it happened that way. Now it's easy to talk about, but then it was not a good day. It was pretty messed up. But that's the adrenaline rush that I got from getting in trouble. I felt like a kid again, and I think that is also part of, you know, being on a motorcycle, and for me, rushing and adrenaline and excitement and all those feelings. That's why I love riding a motorcycle. And it paralleled the story of how we were in Bermuda trying to get back on that ship with like minutes, and knowing that we have to get back to the ship and we have to get gas because you have to return the scooter with gas. So that added more tension. But it was a great experience. I love a Harley. I never thought I would love a material thing like I do my Judy. I love you, girl. She's a good girl. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Today I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to tell the story of that crazy thing. I don't want Matt to be upset. I don't want him to feel like, oh, really, you're telling this story? But it's my story, and it's what bonded us, because I love this guy. He moved to Florida, and we now keep in touch through Facebook, and he's a good guy, a true gentleman. You know, I'm surrounded by really classy people. I have Matt, who is a true gentleman, my husband, who is such a gentleman, everyone. So sometimes I feel ashamed of the language that I use and how I'm sometimes a little crass. But hopefully my heart outweighs my lips and my mouth, because sometimes my mouth doesn't know when to shit it. You know, so speaking of sometimes my mouth doesn't know when to shut up, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for being with me and listening to my mouth. And I appreciate you guys. I love it if you would subscribe. I love it if you would share this video. I had one share. Woohoo! I know that's silly, but to me that was exciting. Somebody shared my video. And comment and do all the things, because it makes me happy. Or I should say, it makes me happier, because I'm pretty happy. So thanks again. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you in the next vlog. Oh, this is 9, right? Remember we took this? Oh, 59. Yeah. Yeah. This is where Tony and I were going around in circles. Before I had GPS, I was using the phone. And we were like coming around in circles here. We're like, what are we doing? We went under that overpass like 3 times. Should I do it? Ugh.